Hello everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today we are going to be creating this acetate window scene card with adorable images and dies from Mama Elephant. I have not created an acetate based card in a while. When I saw this awesome window die from Mama Elephant, and this is called the Open Sesame Portrait, which is such a cute name for a die, I knew I wanted to try to do something fun with peeking animals. Obviously, I wanted to use the Peekabuddies, but I wanted to find a way to incorporate acetate. So what I started with was die cutting this awesome window die from some textured white cardstock. This is Fawn textured white cardstock. And I wanted this to kind of look like or resemble that window frame. And here I have a top fold acetate card base. And I have to say, I love, love, love that Simon Says Stamp has some acetate top fold card bases instead of the side fold, because I'm kind of a top fold kind of girl, and so I love that. And I am going to kind of lay out my elements. This was a work in progress as I was creating. Now, I like to share that with you because sometimes when I'm creating a card, it just comes to me. Does it come to you guys too? It comes to me and I know exactly what I'm going to do. I had a rough idea here with this card today, but it did take a little bit of effort. So once you die cut the window, then you can die cut. It die cuts these solid kind of shutters, which is awesome because I think that makes it way more versatile than just being a window card. And then from those long rectangular panels, I did take the window and I die cut those. Now you can see there's a couple of options. There's another option for die cutting inside the windows too, but I did use more of this window one. I've placed some double-sided tape on the back. This is some nice, strong, about a 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm placing it right on the front of my top fold card. Then you can make it where your windows open. Because this is going to be an acetate card, I don't really need for that feature to work for this particular design. So I'm going to put another piece of adhesive right down the front, and I am going to kind of carefully, I'm going to try to do a little bit better job there, lay down that middle piece that would normally open. Then I'm going to take the windows, which do die cut separately. So these are those nice window panes. And I am going to very, very lightly, the glue press or some sort of fine tip applicator will be perfect for this. Apply that glue right on the back and then place that or inlay that into the window. Now, if you have never worked with acetate before, what you have to do is you have to hide the fact that you have all of this adhesive. So it does require maybe a little bit more thought and some abilities to hide things. You got to be a little sneaky. No, what you need to do is we're going to open up the card and we're going to place an exact panel on the back side. Now I don't want to use textured cardstock for that. I want it to look nice, but I don't need it to be that texture. So I am going to die cut the exact same panel, and I'm also going to die cut the windows from it. And we are going to do this from some Nina solid white cardstock. Then we're going to place this right on the back of our window, inside of the card. So let's open up our card. We're going to have to kind of crease it open, and we're going to simply sandwich the acetate basically between the two frames. This will hide the adhesive. Now, it may seem like this makes the card really thick. I actually think it doesn't. I think it really just gives your card a nice sturdy appearance. Acetate is really, really fun to work with. I had kind of forgotten how much I love these kinds of cards. So let me know if you want to see more things like this, because it is really fun. I am going to link down in the description to another video that I did a couple of years ago with a window from Simon Says Stamp that was very, very fun to create. It was more of a wintry scene. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And I am going to go ahead and inlay on the inside of the card the window panes, because you can see that glue if you don't. And again, very, very fine little bit of glue. Especially when working with acetate, we do not want to have a big gluey mess. I like to use acrylic blocks to lay them on top, hold things down nice and flat while I'm working. You can create all kinds of fun scenes. Now, our images that we will be using for the card today are the Mama Elephant Peekabuddies. And what I love, there's several things about this stamp set that are amazing. The small images are grouped in threes. The dies are also grouped in threes, making it easy to die cut all those little parts, or threes or fours, pardon me. So it makes it easy to die cut them. Awesome stacked sentiments that really work with the stacked animals, which is adorable. And of course, the very awesome Mama Elephant critters. Now I am speeding up this portion of the video just a little bit today. Just an FYI, if you want to see the coloring a little bit slower, you can change that. Just click the gear on your YouTube screen and slow it down. Maybe turn down the volume so I don't sound like a chipmunk, but that is a great way to slow it down if you want to see it closer. Also, I have tagged in the description this awesome Lazy Susan from Target that I am using to store my Olo markers. I was asked in a recent live how I store my Olo markers, and I store them in 2 of these Lazy Susans. Now, in the live, I told everybody I'm using 1 currently, and just a few markers don't fit in it, so I did pick up another one. They're about $15, I believe, and they are a nice small size, so they fit on your shelf. They are, if you have IKEA units or whatever, they fit on your shelf really nicely, and of course turn around. They're easy to put up on your desktop. I really like it. It's kind of a very space saving, that's what I'm looking for, storage solution. I also use one of these for my most often used tools: scissors, embellishment wands, tweezers, all of that good stuff. So I absolutely love these. I have listed all of the colors I am using to color everything in down below. I am also trying really hard, something new, to keep my caps on the screen so that you can see which colors I am using. There are coordinating dies for all of these images, which is fantastic. I love being able to die cut my dies. I don't know about you guys, but we call it cussy cutting here. That was not my term. That is from a fantastic viewer who coined that a couple years ago during Stamptember, and I thought it was hilarious. And I have just adopted that because I do consider it cussy cutting when I have to cut things out. Now, I know a lot of you are fussy cutting and great at it. But for me, it generally does turn into a cussy cutting kind of situation. I am loving my Olo markers. I will have a link down in the description for you guys if you're interested in checking them out. Absolutely love them. I have really kind of just moved completely to them. I cannot even believe I am saying that, but I do love, love, love my Olo markers. And you do not have to completely switch to Olo by any means. You can mix and match your Olo markers. So if you still have Copics, or you have some of the Spectrum Noir, or I can't think of the other names at the moment, you can mix and match your alcohol ink markers. And I definitely did that at the beginning because that gives you just a bigger range of colors. which I love. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am a sucker for cute critters, and I bet you are too. Mama Elephant and Lawn Fawn are two of my favorites, and they definitely each have their own look. And I love that these are the Mama Elephant critters. They're Penguin, the bunny, the elephant, of course, the puppy, the bear, the kitty, and of course the cute little bird. Now, in addition to the stack or the Peekabuddies here, we are also going to be stamping the bumblebee 3 times, and I am going to die cut it 3 times. I did stamp the trio of images that has the cute little envelope with the heart. I don't know what it is about that. Actually, I do. But I am a sucker for little envelopes with hearts. I think that just speaks to our card making hearts. And you guys know I love a little heart image, so that kind of fits the bill in 2 ways for me. And then this little image with balloons. I love that it's not part of the Peekabuddy stacked critters. That makes it so if you want to turn this into a different card, you can. I love that there's a diploma, a graduation cap, a birthday cap, a pinwheel. I think you could really turn this into all kinds of different cards. And whenever you can utilize a stamp set for more than one occasion, I'm here for it. Now, of course, I wanted to do the balloons. I think the balloons would work for a multitude of occasions. If you need a graduation card, especially this time of year, instead of a birthday card, I kind of went more the birthday celebration route. But if you're needing more of a graduation card, school colors, graduation caps, and diploma, you're set. I love that. I think that's super fun. We're going to just color our balloons in. I did go kind of more of the pastel-y type of rainbow here. With a card that features a lot of white and a lot of neutrals with all of our critters, I felt like some pops of color with the rainbows was really needed to make this card shine. So that's what we're doing. Gonna pull in a little purple for all my purple lovers. And let's add a little touch of kind of aqua to our envelope. Perfect. And then I got a little crazy, so I did take the 0 marker for that. Okay, next up, we're gonna cut our dies apart with some wire snips. I do highly recommend a pair of wire snips. They also live in one of those little turntables that I keep my markers in. As I mentioned, I have multiples of those little turntables, but they are used almost every time I craft to cut apart some dies. And then you can see I am just lining up my dies and gonna run those through my die cutting machine. Now I have some scraps of white cardstock here, and that is because on the inside of my card, to get my critters to line up where I want them to for the window, it's going to leave a space. So not only are our critters going to be peeking through the acetate window from our Creative Cuts die, but they're going to be peeking around the corner of the quote-unquote wall on the inside of the card. This truly is a scene card with multiple layers. Now you might be asking, as we start assembling the inside of the card, where would you put a sentiment on this card? You've filled the front of the card, Nicole. You have filled the inside of the card as well. So I am going to answer that here in just a minute. Now, as I'm looking at my card, we have a lot of white going on. You guys know me. Do I do a lot of white cards, a lot of white card bases? Not a ton. And even though I really wanted my window to be white, we need to do something to add a pop of color. I think it's going to make our critters show up even better. So I am taking my card, I am taking my image, and I am picking one of the sentiments from our Peekabuddy set, Life is Better with Friends Who Add a Sprinkle of Joy to Every Moment. And I want that to be lined up with the window opening, even though it's going to be somewhat disguised by our window pane. That's okay, because you're going to get a peek that there's something going on fun inside. So I have lined up my background and I stamped my greeting. Now, I wanted to create some sort of a fun wall effect. I knew I was going to create a strip down the left side that looks like a wall that my critters are peeking out of. And I need to have some sort of, let's say, wallpaper, wall treatment. I don't know. So for me, that is going to be a plaid background today. So somehow I missed the entire time of ink blending my background and stamping that background stamped image. So I apologize. I promised it was easy. All I did was put a little bit of positively saturated surf ink right over my stamped greeting. And then over the top of that, using the same surf color of ink, but I did use it in my Misty, I stamped the soft plaid background stamp from Simon Says Stamp right over my panel. So it's a very pretty tone-on-tone plaid, very subtle, but adds just the right amount of color. Along the left side, I am placing a piece of the textured white cardstock, the same cardstock I used for the front. And we're going to put that down the side with a little foam adhesive. I did feel like it needed a little bit of dimension. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you're going to put foam on the inside of your card. It is a nice, pretty low profile, and I don't think it ruins your card at all. Now, I did not get this lined up perfectly, so I did need to take my scissors and just trim away some of that excess. In addition, as cute as that is, I just feel like our doorway needs, the casing on it, right? So we're going to grab some brown cardstock. I'm going to find a scrap. I think I just grabbed a piece of the brown textured cardstock from Fawn. And we're going to place that, maybe I'm just eyeballing it. I want to say it's maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put a little glue on it, and we're going to pop that right in place and then just trim off the excess. I thought that really worked well to kind of show there's a wall or, a doorway, and we have our cute critters peeking out. And of course, I have it making it look like the elephant is holding the balloons in its trunk and the birdie is standing on its trunk. Now, I did notice it looks like my critters are floating. I did place them a little higher on the panel. I didn't line it up with the bottom because I wanted to line them up with my window panel opening. I didn't want some of the window panes going through the critters' faces in certain areas. So that was my answer to that. So we're going to just put another little piece of white cardstock down along the bottom edge. I love it. I think it looks great. I do want to mention my background panel is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. That is a little bit smaller than what I normally do. The reason being that perfectly fits back behind our window opening on our card. So now it's time to place this panel on the inside of our card. Do you remember what I said about where are we going to put a greeting? Well, just like the front of the card, when you place this panel inside of your card, on the back of your card, it's going to be ugly. You're going to see adhesive. We do not want to do that. Now, on my backs of my cards, that's where I always stamp, made by Nichol or something similar. I have another 3 3/4 by 5 inch panel that I'm going to put adhesive on. And on the back of my card, so again, sandwiching the acetate right in between, we're going to place our white cardstock. To me, you can still stamp hand stamped by Nichol or hand stamped by Debbie or whoever right here on the back of your card, but you can write your sentiment or your greeting right above that. And I love that. So this really turns your card kind of into a piece of art or a work of art. Okay, now as cute as this is, the front of our card needs something. Our critters are in the house. In this story, our critters live inside of the house, right? So they are peeking out the window to the outside world. And in the outside world, this is where our bumblebees live. So I glued one already down. And while I work on stamping a couple more, I want the eyes on my critters to be drying. So I'm taking a black jelly roll pen, adding details to eyes and noses to really make all of those pop. taking a white Jelly Roll pen, adding some little white highlights to the cheeks and to the balloons. Nothing crazy. You may notice that my kitty cat is not holding the cute little envelope yet. It's kind of hanging out over there on the right side of the screen. We're going to grab that. We're going to glue down that envelope to our card. I think it's just a fun little hidden treasure because you don't see it when our card is closed. And we're going to work on the front of our card. Now, we don't need a lot. I like the little peekaboo. That's fun. I like the bumblebee, but I did feel like we need something on the front and we need more bumblebees. So on the front, one of my go-to favorite stamp sets from Mama Elephant is called Way to Go. I love this stamp set. Not only are the sentiments fantastic, but there's coordinating dies for all of the greetings, and they die cut really nice and close to each of the sentiments, which is fantastic. So I have stamped, this calls for celebration, on black cardstock. I am heat embossing with white embossing powder. I'm doing a little correction right now with my paintbrush, a dry paintbrush. I didn't get it stamped super great, and then I got too aggressive with my paintbrush, so I had to fix it again. You know, all that good stuff that happens when you are trying to stamp and emboss on black. Am I right? And then, of course, we're going to grab a couple more bumblebees and add those to the front panel of the card. And I even think if you had a tree branch or something, I kind of meant to look and then I didn't. I thought a little tree branch would be cute hanging into our scene as well. But look through your stash, see what you have fun building scene cards. I don't know about you, but I love them. So I am gluing, this calls for celebration, down. We've got our extra bumblebees. Had to do a little extra coloring. Also, I wanted to make the wings on the original, maybe a little bit more of that violet color. No, we don't need any violence here. And then we're going to glue it all down. The black really pops. I did purposely pick, I didn't want to cover up my critters and I don't want to cover up the greeting inside the card, even though you can't read all of it. You get a pretty good idea of what it says. So I popped it right above, kind of still incorporating it into the design of this window card. And then we're going to play around with our bumblebees, kind of creating a visual triangle. I did a lot of playing around. And once we have those where we want them to go, we will take a black Jelly Roll pen, add detail to the eyes on these as well to really make them pop. And you guys, that is it. Really fun, cute window scene card. I hope this has inspired you to maybe think about creating your own acetate cards. Lots of layering opportunities with this. A little tip, your acetate cards you can see how mine keeps popping up. Take a bone folder and run it across the score line up at the top of your card. That is going to help your card stay closed a little bit better. And that's it, friends. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. The supplies I used to create my interactive window scene card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thanks for watching!